It's Off Exit 10, presented by Capital District Sport and Fitness.
I don't even really drink like that either. Like, honestly, I don't. Ever. Yeah. Never, man. Even in college, just...
That, so, I felt like that too. I know it's not the normal, like, college experience, but I never really drank in high school. So then I got to college, and I was like, well, this is what you're supposed to do. So, I'd fucking do it. Well, here's where it started going wrong. Because I can't drink beer. It makes me sick. Like, my stomach is bloated, and I end up, I just feel terrible. I fucking
like the hops
throw up. It's something. So for like a good year and a half, I was like, oh, I'm just a lightweight. Like, I can't handle it. And then I finally realized that, like, beer just makes my stomach feel terrible.
Feel gross.
Yeah. But no, I don't that much like I used to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, me neither. I mean, I told you I went to Cortland before, so
Cortica.
I definitely did my fair share of drinking when I was in college. But now it's more just like weekend things, and if I have something going on or a wedding or something like that. But for the most part, it's chill. Don't need to dabble in that. Plus, I don't feel like shit the next morning.
Yeah, I'm over that. I feel like when I heard, like, oh, this kid's going to Cortland, like, oh, they're probably fucking hammered all the time.
All the time.
It's like great athletic programs, but boys party hard, man.
Yeah.
Boys and girls.
Yeah.
Girls party hard, too.
Everybody there.
They don't do Cortico like they used to, right?
Probably not.
I don't think so. I think they probably... I don't know. Because
I mean, in the sense of the party at the school. They do it at Yankee Stadium now or MetLife.
Well, yeah, so now they'll, like, do special stuff where they go to, like, this year it's at Yankee Stadium, and I'm supposed to go to the game, so... That's pretty dope, and like they had it at MetLife one year, but they still when it's at the schools, it's still Cortica. Like it's still just as big as it ever was. I don't know, obviously COVID year and all that, how that affected everything, but in the grand scheme, it's still. I see videos and stuff because I follow like Barstool Cortland just because why not? And like they're still just as rowdy.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Where'd you go to college, Alex?
I went to a few different schools. One of the schools I went to no longer exists. It was my first school. I went to called Wesley College in Delaware, Dover, Delaware.
Does that sound familiar?
It was right down the road from Delaware State University, like right across the road from this huge NASCAR track, Dover Downs.
Okay, yeah.
Which is like a huge NASCAR thing. And I had no idea until I went there. That was like every October when that...
Did everybody just love NASCAR?
For that one weekend. They had like a huge lot across, and everyone just go there and camp out. Like our college is like right there. And University of Delaware is like 30 minutes away, so you would like go there for like their Pride Week or whatever they called it week, and get pretty rowdy.
Yeah.
So that was my first college, and then from there, just wanted to be a better athlete, so then I transferred. I got a scholarship to a junior college that was like right down the road from that, called Delaware Technical and Community College. I went there for a semester. That's when I got a better scholarship to my final docking place, which was Ottawa University. And that was a NAIA school out in Kansas. And I got a great scholarship there. Honestly, had no idea where Kansas was because like I was growing up playing lacrosse. It's just like East Coast.
Right.
Everyone else is trash. So like growing up in the East Coast, and then having the chance to get a scholarship like somewhere else, like farther away, I was like, yo, let's go. I thought Kansas was like top of the map. I had no idea. I looked at like Kansas on the map and I was just like, oh, I'm going like Midwest.
You're going like middle of nowhere.
Yeah, and then Coach, I'll never forget, I was in my apartment in Delaware. Coach called me, he's like, hey, I want to offer you, but you only have 2 weeks to decide. I was like, damn. Like in like the period of me like getting offers like just started, and I was a lot better. Like my story goes like first year playing lacrosse, had 2 points. My third year, sophomore year campaign, I had 20 points. So like I progressed a ton. So like I actually started getting offers, and I was stoked. But then he put pressure on me. He's like, hey, you only have 2 weeks to commit. And I was like, damn, like I don't want to let this one fall through the cracks. Seemed like a great coach, had a great resume. And I was just like, all right, man, like let's go. Like to Kansas we go. He's like, you want to come out and visit? I was like, nope. Didn't know where I was going. And then like come August, picks me up from the airport. Smaller than Albany Airport, which is small.
Yeah.
And then like we started driving past Kansas City. We passed another city. It was like close to University of Kansas, so KU.
Mm-hmm.
past that, I'm just like, yo, where are we going, bro? Go to this like small ass school, middle of nowhere. It's like maybe like 4 blocks, like population of I say like 5. No, but there's like maybe like less than 1,000 kids on campus.
Damn.
All just athletes though. It was such a dope experience. And like for me, like after going through like my first experience in Delaware, wanting to be like just a dope lacrosse athlete, the best I could possibly be, I was like, all right, man, like one, like you're here to play lacrosse. It doesn't really matter where you're at. And then from there, like let's go ahead and like be the best you could be. Like doesn't matter like what the surroundings are. And now like there's nothing around, so like you only have lacrosse. So, like let's go ahead and kill it. It was a dope experience. So
It's cool to hear. I mean, you work with kids every day now. I guess I'll give you the introduction before we get things rolling. So we got Alex Linder on tonight.
Hey.
We first touched base years ago.
Yes, sir.
I think just about gym stuff. So Alex owns Fortitude Strength in Del Mar. He's a 2-time All-American playing lacrosse for Ottawa University in Kansas in the Midwest. Yeah, and he spent time
Beautiful
coaching
place.
college lacrosse. You taught elementary ed.
yes, sir.
And now spends his time just helping athletes achieve success on the field through your strength and conditioning programs and on-field programs through Fortitude.
Yes, sir.
So, man, I appreciate you coming on tonight.
Appreciate you guys having me, man. It's an honor.
And that college journey is, I think that's something kids need to hear. I mean, it's stressful now. I mean, it's stressful for us, and it's even more stressful now
Yeah.
just to make, like, the right choice.
It's honestly, man, I've been like the last few weeks, I was like, which has been a blessing and I won't say and a curse, but I've had a lot of my athletes since like 8th grade, right? And a lot of them now are juniors, which is wild. But it's also like recruiting time, especially for lacrosse. Like they just made a rule where like September 1 is like when they have to start recruiting. You can't recruit anyone before that, you know? So like these college kids, these high school kids from like 9th grade all up until junior year are just going to like showcase like every weekend. And I'm just like, it's 9th grade, you know, like, and we can't get recruited until like junior year. So it's just like some athletes are going, not really having much to showcase, you know?
Right.
Like, yeah, you're getting an opportunity to see like what college coaches want, but it's also just like, you got to have something they want.
Yeah.
Right.
And when I was a freshman, like I started playing in 8th grade, trash. I played defense, couldn't cradle, couldn't hold the ball. Second year playing, freshman year, was somehow like just through like hard work, like was just playing lacrosse in my front yard nonstop. Became the leading scorer on the attack. My second year playing for freshmen. Then my 3rd year I was playing varsity, which is pretty dope.
Yeah.
But like I didn't get recruited. Really didn't think I was going to college until like my midway through junior year. I looked at my email. College was like, hey, Wesley was like, hey, you want to come? I was like, all right, like is this what they talk about? Like getting recruited is dope. Then I went, and then for me, I was just like, all right, like this is dope. Team wasn't that good. And I was like, I want to be better. I know I am going to be better. I'm better than this. Like this, the dog I was, if you will, humble, if you will. Like it was always like, I want to be better. I'm going to be better. And people like around me were just like, hey man, like we see your hustle, see your grind, and they were kind of pushing me to like, hey, like do your thing. Like like if you want to like transfer and do your thing, like go to a better program. Do it, you know? And like, kind of like we were talking about earlier as far as like just life happening, I was just like, yo, like, my best friends from high school went to Southern New Hampshire University, so Division II, and I was talking to that coach at the time, and I was like, yo, do I want to go? I just want to stay here. Like, it was between December and January, like that spring semester. Life happened. Situation happened in college, just being a college kid. And I was just like, all right, well, like you have a choice to either like go here or like get this, and that's when the scholarship from Del Tech came in, and I was like, all right, well you have a chance to now like go better yourself for a semester. Like talk to the coach, like, hey, you can come here, better yourself, get better looks, kind of like what you want to do. He's also our assistant coach at Wesley. He's also the head coach at Delaware Tech. I don't know how they allowed that, but
Interesting.
Wait a minute.
so like he's like, hey, I know what you want to do. I see you. And then he's like, hey, like next semester, like come to Del Tech, give you a full ride. And I was like, all right, like let's go. And just busted my hump again. Had a beautiful semester. Met like for me that was like the transition of like who I was into like who I became, like the better of a player. Just like met great coaches, like really learned, really like dove into like the process of like becoming better. And then like got better offers, got better scholarships, and then that's when I chose one from Ottawa. But like the biggest thing for me is always like now, like dealing with these athletes is like they want it now, right? And
Yes.
it's just like, yeah, like we just spent like 5 minutes talking about until I got to like my last like 2 years, and like
Right.
when I really got like that final scholarship that set me up to like have that 2-time All-American success, you know. And like before that, I was able to get my third year or at Del Tech, I was able to get that like first team all region accolade for the first time ever, which is cool. But for me, it was just like I wasn't focused on it right now. I was like, yo, I know if I keep working, I'm gonna be the best I could possibly be. And along the way, like that just happened to happen, you know?
Well, and that's something that is similar to when we had Dags on. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's the same thing. It's like he knew if I did one small thing per day, it didn't mean they had to pick up a basketball, but you know, because he's a basketball trainer, so it didn't mean he had to pick up a basketball, but he was gonna do one small thing per day to make himself better, so that he knew, okay, going in high school, you know, I don't think he started as a freshman. You know, he's a smaller, shorter guy, and then you know he's like, I'm gonna do one small thing per day, and they can't tell me I'm not gonna be able to be a college basketball player by the time I'm a senior. And then by the time he went to St. Rose, he applied the same mentality, and he's like, you're not going to be able to tell me I couldn't play at D1 by the time I leave St. Rose.
Right.
And he was, I believe, MVP of the
E19
conference, and like a 2-time all-conference. And so he ended up, you know, same kind of thing is like those compound behaviors of like, okay, that dog in you or whatever you want to call it, that mentality of like, I just got to keep getting better each day, and the end goal will come.
Yeah.
Don't look at the end. Look at everything else up until then.
Showcases are big in lacrosse too, because we have a lot of baseball kids, and it's big.
Yeah. I know, like, I read a lot about like showcases from a pitching standpoint.
Right.
But yeah, showcase like huge. They're huge.
Do you feel the same way about it we feel in terms of it's just a money grab for these organizations? Yeah. Cheers. And yeah, you have a freshman in high school. We just had a freshman parent call and pause a membership for a freshman in high school because he's going to spend the fall doing showcases. And you're just like, that's the wrong way to go about it.
Yeah.
And I have it's in the moment. Sometimes I'll speak up, and sometimes I'll just say, okay, and even though I know it's the wrong thing, it's a tough in the moment thing for me. But it's like, yeah, you know, if you weigh 140 pounds and you can't cradle and your shots aren't strong enough, and don't you think your time's better spent in the weight room? I
know, like, I touched on it earlier, just like from a coaching standpoint, I got these showcases, like, let's say, like, yeah, they're definitely money grab, 100%.
You work showcases?
In college,
okay.
For sure. So I've definitely seen this, like, I'm not a coach. I'm a college kid who's there trying to get like $30 for the weekend and hang out with the boys at night, you know, and do it again on Sunday. But like, there's like 1,000, I won't say that. There's probably like between 60 and like 80 kids there, you know, and there's not enough coaches to even like evaluate. So it's just like, what are we doing? Like from like a S&C standpoint, it's just like, yo, like coach to client ratio, like you can't see all eyes. And like there could be someone there killing it that day, like who like put in the freaking work to get there. And there's not enough eyes to see him, you know? And it's just like, and he, like, hopefully he is a freshman or a sophomore who has time to, like, actually, like, be in front of enough eyes to actually get a quality look. But it's just, like, it's tough, you know? But from me, what was the other question you asked? Sorry.
Well, I'm just thinking about showcases as a whole. It's such a big thing in youth sports, and you just have to look at where a kid's at in their development.
Oh, yeah, development.
It's like if you're a junior, senior in high school and you want to get some looks and you've developed yourself over the years physically and from a skill standpoint, let it rip, right?
Yeah, so I was thinking, like, now that kids are starting to, like, go to more showcases, a lot of my athletes now are starting to be, like, 8th grade, freshmen, mostly freshmen, which is pretty cool. But like, I also coach you, you know, like all love to you. Like I'm not the coach that sugarcoats it, because we're not gonna get better sugarcoating. So it's just like, I'm trying to figure out the happy medium between like, hey, like let's keep working, you know, like let's keep working, like keep diving deep, and like there's gonna be a time where like life puts you in a situation to like go to the showcase where you're ready to really showcase talent, you know, because like if you go there and we're on the opposite end of like you don't have talent and a coach sees you, just gonna be like check off the list, like this dude or dudette girl cannot throw, cannot like cut, has bad agility, doesn't have IQ, which is a huge at a young age. I didn't even know what I was doing. So I'm just like, for me to go in front of a college coach, especially like these aren't like D3 shows, these are like D1 showcases. So it's just like, for me to go in front of a college coach as a freshman and not have IQ, not have skills, I'm just literally shooting myself in the foot. How do I say that to a parent?
Right.
You know what I mean? And how do I say that to a kid?
Yeah.
I think sometimes it's even easier with a kid to be able to say it, but then and say it and be able to get the message across to them but then they're still driven to go do the showcase, whether it's from a coach, a parent, or some adult figure.
A lot of
And
peer pressure too.
It's
Yeah.
and peer pressure.
A lot of peer
And
pressure.
You even brought it up, like your first year playing lacrosse, you scored 2 points. Your second year, you scored 20. But in the grand scheme of things, that when you were at Wesley and then Del Tech, those coaches never even looked at what you did 8th, 9th, 10th grade.
Never.
And then you were a junior, and that's when you said you got like the
Yeah,
you
yeah.
junior year, right? When you got the email
Sophomore going in. Oh yeah, in high school. Yeah,
in high
junior.
school.
Yeah.
So it was junior year when you got your email, and they probably saw you play maybe in the summer.
At a fault, like Shaker Colony always teamed up.
Yep.
Thankfully, I was able to like get a ride there. You know what I mean? And we were at, I think it was at like a Rutgers tournament. I was just playing well, just busting my ass out there. It was Shaker Colony fall tournament. Not even a showcase. Just like, hey, like you guys team up as a school, and like a school every year will go to like a tournament.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I've played Albany Power. Like I won't go there, but I did all these things with these programs. But it was like at a fall showcase. You know,
Yeah.
open the email like, hey, we saw you here at this tournament, and it was like in my spam, not even like a fresh email.
Dude, the spam, every week I get good emails in the spam box. I try to check them.
Yeah, so I saw you talking to somebody yesterday, like, oh, I might have went to my spam. Shit.
Come on, Google, get your shit together.
Yeah.
Get better at filtering that stuff. But yeah, the showcases, the tournaments, and like I said, was saying, like, you know, you could have scored 2 points in 8th grade and 2 points in 9th grade and 2 points in 10th, and then all score 30 as a junior.
Yeah.
They're not going to look at the other 3 years. They're going to be like, this kid was putting in work, and this is now the end result. Whether it's, you know, the work, combination of the work you put in, you know, your body maturing, all of that kind of stuff. You know, there's so many things, especially as guys hit puberty later, so they're gonna grow into their bodies a little bit later. Like, you know, I look at some of the kids that are freshmen in here now, or kids that we had that were freshmen, and where they are now as juniors and seniors, and I'm like, you are a substantially different athlete than you were 3 years ago.
100%. 100%. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I say lacrosse has grown in us a lot.
Oh
man.
yeah, I love watching it now.
That's dope.
Yeah, like I knew nothing about lacrosse before I started working here, and like it was always something I was like, oh, that seems kind of cool. I didn't know there was a difference between men's and women's. No idea. Now I do. I've been to both, and I thoroughly enjoy watching it and like understanding the game and all that, and it's just exciting to watch. Even like every level. Like I've watched modified up to I've watched college in person and on TV. It's all like fun to watch.
It's a beautiful sport, man.
Should girls be able to put helmets on and hit more?
Yes.
Alex?
That's. I honestly think the girls' game is more like. So I'm a big like native like. I'm not native, but I'm a big Native American like guy as far as like when it comes to history. And I think the girls' game represents more of the girls' game. Sorry, of the Native American game, just
Like the
because.
original game.
Yeah, the original game, just because like the way they play, like with their stick, it's more traditional style stick. Like I have a Woody, which is more akin to a girl's stick than a guy's stick. The guy's stick has like a huge bag. So like with the girl's stick, it forces you to play a different style. You know, the original name of lacrosse, like translation, is like they bump hips. So like in girls lacrosse, instead of like trying to like, like they'll shift someone and split, but like a lot of it is like just bumping into girls and try to like roll and get around and like bumping hips, you know, like getting to the cage, which I think is dope, you know, and it forces you like D1 girl. Yeah, I remember when I was at Wesley and like seeing like D1 girls, I'm like, yo, these girls are big, like yo, big, bro. So I'm just like, yo, like they're out there, they're really playing, like they're getting after it, and like the rest let them play. Like at the high school level, a little soft, but like at the D1 level, like they're getting after it.
Yeah,
So,
it's definitely a big difference watching. Like, I feel like boys, the intensity is there regardless because of the contact
Yeah.
and everything. The skill level obviously makes a difference, but when I was watching girls, and I've watched, you know, JV and varsity in the high school level, and then I've watched U Albany play, it is a big difference.
100%.
Like, there is more contact in like a college girls game because they let it go more. Like the refs do let it go more.
Yeah.
For sure. And I've said something similar with like basketball. Like I almost like at a lot of times watching like WNBA or girls college basketball more than boys because they can't just rely on being athletic.
Yeah.
Like they can't just run up and down the court and dunk and whatnot. They have to use the skills of basketball.
Yeah,
and
have to use the finesse.
and what basketball really is, and not just okay, let's pass, run down the court, shoot a three, or pass, run down the court, dunk it, and it's just sloppier. Whereas like the girls tends to be more controlled and less sloppy
Yeah.
to watch, and it tends to be more fun to watch a lot of times, depending on time of year and everything like that.
What I see, what I saw, or to answer your question, I don't think so. I don't know if I would like them to, but I will say in Florida, they're required to wear helmets. Like I think Cascade made like a girls style helmet that has like no like a small face shield. 'Cause, like they wear goggles, so it has like the goggles, then like a biker's helmet kind of like swag on it, which is kind of dope, low key. But they play with that, and it allows them to play a bit more physical. And like a lot of girls say they want to pad up. And I'm just like, all right, like if you want to, go ahead. Like it's not my sport. Like in my sport we pad up. I wouldn't say for us I want us to D-pad. But a lot of girls have been asking me lately, like, hey, like, do you think we should play box lacrosse? I'm just like, yes, like definitely play box lacrosse and play with a guy stick too, because like that's gonna be like for me playing with a woody or for a guy playing with a girl stick, that's gonna force your stick skills to be like 10x better. No question about it.
Why is that?
Just because like once again like it forces you to play a different style. So like it forces you to really rely on like feeling the ball versus like a lot of like the way I teach lacrosse to my athletes is, I won't give away too much sauce, but teach them to feel the ball instead of like cradling, which is going to take a lot of time out of just passing and throwing. We need to understand how to feel the ball in the palm of my hand, which is my stick really. So that way, like when it comes down to it, if I see someone coming, I could look here and throw it without having to cradle and then throw. So like having a traditional stick or a girl stick, I have to feel it and then go. And it's just a quick like flip of the wrist. And like it's a lot of, when you watch girls lacrosse, a lot of it is just like straight wrist motion.
Right.
And a lot of guys like more of like full body stuff. But like when you can like separate the hands from the body, now you're more lethal. Like a lot of guys are like tied to like stick to body. When you can like be like guy here on my shoulder, that's a nice little flip pass, and like ball's over here and he's still grinding you up. You're just like, oh, I didn't know you threw that. I get that a lot, you know.
Right.
But girls playing box lacrosse would allow them to get the physicality, get like the more finesse, bump hips more, like with the pads on, they're more padded up. So when they go back to their game, they could take the skill that they had and still play a beautiful game, which I think like I like at a high level. I love watching girls lacrosse at a high level. So for sure.
Because when Dag goes on to talk about 3-on-3 basketball, you have futsal and soccer.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then box lacrosse is that lacrosse's version of it.
Yeah.
It's like a smaller game. Explain explain box lacrosse.
Box lacrosse 5-on-5. So girls lacrosse, don't kill me, 7-on-7. Guys lacrosse 6-on-6. And box lacrosse, no matter what, is 5-on-5. And you're allowed to go both sides. So you're allowed to go like so pretty much like hockey, like just with lacrosse sticks and on turf most of the time. Lot faster paced game. They just added a shot clock in the field game. The shot clock in box is 30 seconds. So like once you get the ball from the goalie, get it over the midline, you have 30 seconds to get the ball, or like get the ball in the back of the net or get a reset. And a lot of times like you'll get it over, ball's flying, right? So you don't have time to like get it over, let some dude sub on, like get it around, right? It's like, yo, we're going. Like, so like finesse stick skills, like create, like my first time playing box, like going from college to then playing box, embarrassment. Like I thought like, and I was all American. Then I go play with these dudes up in Canada. Damn, that was a voice crack. I go play with these dudes up in Canada. And they're just like, yo, move the fucking ball. I'm just like, yo, I'm trying.
It's all so fast.
So fast. I thought I was doing something. And it's just different games. So it forces you to be a lot faster, more finesse, smaller space where guys are coming at you, way more physicality. So like the soft cross checks that dudes get in field, like that plus more in box. When I was teaching lacrosse in Florida, which is like, I won't say further behind than New York is, but a little bit. And guys are like mad about getting like checked and stuff down there. I'm like, yo, dudes get punched in the face. Dudes like lose teeth in this game. Like that light check, like bro, like play through it. You know, play through it. And I love it too because it's a game of life too. Like it's so fast paced and like life is fast. But once you become more experienced though, it slows down so much. And at that point, you really have the opportunity to really take advantage, right? And then you start playing at a higher level, and it's such a beautiful game. And that's just, for me, it's just life, because like once you start getting older, I'm young bull, but once you start getting older, it's just like it becomes more beautiful because you start appreciating like, all right, I was moving fast when I was young, but now I start to understand it, have more experience, and I can like really finagle my way through. And it like having to be fast and taking that out into like a bigger field, unfair advantage, man. So like in the PLL, which is like the new Major League Lacrosse, They didn't win this year, but they won last year. The Chaos, my squad, full of box players, right? And a lot of those guys just won the national championship of the box lacrosse league, the NLL. So a lot of those guys went from the NLL champions to field champions because, like, one, chemistry, obviously, but then two, like, that play style transferring to the field is just such an unfair advantage. Pick and roll, guys being dominant with one hand, being able to go whatever way, whatever dodge they want to. Just unfair for my advantage. Someone may say different. They've played field their whole life.
How much would you advocate for box lacrosse with younger kids?
100%. I on the reservation, you see kids playing when they're young, little tykes. They're literally born with sticks. Which is dope. I went to have a girl or guy, whatever. I'm just gonna give them a nice little twig. They're born with sticks, and from when they're young up until when they die, they're buried with sticks. So there's let's say first graders or second graders, I would kill third graders that haven't played, haven't played box lacrosse,
right?
That just play field lacrosse because they're just I've seen it, they're just throwing crazy passes, So if more, I don't know how to put this, if American kids play box lacrosse from a young age versus playing field lacrosse, you could transfer those skills so much easier to a field sport, vice versa. It's like I said, when I was an All-American, it was hard to transfer those skills into a box, But then those guys could easily go to any field and yo, toss me the ball. Ball's going right there.
Yeah.
When I say so, because it's a 4x6 net that we're shooting in with a hockey goalie, so very small pickle jar we call it. And then you go to a field net, which is a 6x6, and you're shooting. It's like shooting in the ocean. You know? So.
Yeah, that's cool. Jay, we almost created box baseball when we were growing up in the backyard. Basement, but backyard. First,
Box
short, third.
Baseball. Huh?
Oh.
So I literally made every baseball. I just put this together when we were talking. Any baseball team I ever made, high school through college, was because I could field, I just could field anything. I didn't miss a play.
Everything.
There you go.
Yeah.
A 99% fielding percentage.
I was a well below average hitter, but literally in the field, I would just make every play. But when we were little, so we had our backyard, which wasn't super big, and we had made a little baseball field. It was first base, second base, third base, and then there's a home plate, obviously. But it was me, Jordan, and then one of our friends, EY, and you would rotate. Somebody would play first, somebody would play short, somebody would play third. And you had an Incredible. Do you remember those? It's a soft baseball that would just bounce fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And these bases were close together, Jay. How many feet?
20.
20. And the first baseman would just rip the fucking thing at you, and you had to make the play and throw it back. And we did this for.
You had to get 10 in a row before you could rotate.
So you had to get 10 outs. If you couldn't get 10 outs yet, you couldn't rotate. So you would stay at that position until you got your 10 outs. And we would do this for hours.
Yeah.
But it's a small-sided game.
Is that transferable to baseball though?
Yeah, your hand-eye coordination. Yeah, I think that's the transferable quality in that.
Okay.
Yeah, in terms of decision making, there weren't runners, there wasn't a batter, but I think the hand-eye coordination in that small space,
more fine motor skills of and the reaction,
yeah,
because ball's coming at you from any angle, any speed, any whatever,
right?
And you're playing shortstop. I hated playing infield, hated it, but that ball could bounce any which direction, and if you got this kid, Jordy throwing a rocket at Mike with a ball that also bounces faster than a baseball.
Right.
It's going to translate over. And obviously, like you said, the decision making, that kind of stuff, the actual gameplay, a little bit won't translate necessarily over. But being able to, the skills of catching a ball and switching to your throwing hand and getting it to first base and making the outs, that's where you would get it translating over to the real game.
Real quick, Yankees fans?
Yes.
Aaron Judge, huh?
Yeah.
Aaron Judge is my guy.
Yeah, congrats to Judge, man. Really cool to see. I remember
watching 98.
I remember in 98.
And 01.
Yeah, Dave, my dad, he let me stay up. He's like, we're going to stay up tonight because I think Mark McGwire is going to hit it. And I remember watching, being young 8-year-old Mike, watching juiced up Mark McGwire hit that 60-second bomb.
Yep.
But yeah, man, it's great for Judge.
How do you guys feel about that?
I was getting scared for a little bit with Judge maybe not doing it as we got to the end.
Yeah. What do you mean as far as
steroids versus non?
Yeah.
Barry Bonds has got the record.
Yeah. Do you feel that way or no?
I'm not gonna hold you.
Go say it.
Not a big baseball guy.
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
But I do love the sport of baseball. Like I'm a Mets fan.
Yeah.
If I was gonna swag a team, like playing video games when I was growing up, big Mets guy. Like Mike Piazza, my God.
yeah.
Jose Reyes.
Yes.
And David Wright.
Yeah.
Dude.
Oh my
I mean,
God.
those are three great. You could name three better Mets.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I know a thing or two. But I love the sport, though. Sport's a beautiful thing. So I really appreciate that. I was terrible at Little League. Downey would tell you. I literally,
Shout out Downey.
probably like, I played 4 years, never hit the ball. Bro, never hit. That was like the most embarrassing thing, besides being like, yeah, I mean, the only one. But it was, man, rough. So I was like, it's maybe not my sport. So I played football instead.
Yeah. What else did you play growing up? Because when did you start lacrosse? 8th grade.
8th grade. Baseball. Like every kid plays soccer, I feel like, growing up. It's just
Even I played soccer, and I
Me too.
hate it. Fucking hate soccer.
now looking back, I'm like, yo, all my athletes were like, what sport would you play? Soccer, dude, for sure. Like agility, conditioning,
Yeah.
all in one.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. Sorry, soccer dude. I played football. I'm gonna stick with that.
I would love to, yeah. So if I can go back, I would play that. But I just played so like soccer when I was young, baseball, and then I played football up until like 10th grade. And that's when I was just like lacrosse all the way.
Double down on lacrosse.
Yeah. So even I really doubled down on lacrosse in like 9th grade. I did indoor track. That was my swag. Yo, I can't forget that. That's my thing. So it was like always like football stopped like 9th going into 10th. And then from there it's just strictly, I did cross country my first year in high school. No, 8th grade, and then in high school. And then they're just like, yo, come run varsity. I was like, how long y'all run? They're like 3.5 plus. I was like, y'all got it. Got it.
All you.
And I was like more of a sprinter, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they were just like, yo, like you're gonna do great things. And I was just like, nah, I don't see it.
If you're a field sport athlete, we always encourage multi-sport. I think that's the one sport I would discourage if you're a field sport athlete. Field sport meaning soccer, lacrosse, football, we'll put basketball,
would you
cross
just go-
country.
I said that to one of my
You
athletes
agree?
the other day. Yeah, because she going to showcases during the fall, primary sport during the fall is cross country. It's like, yo, two different sports. Like
Yeah.
you have to be fast and explosive for lacrosse, like rotation a little bit. And you just been training, and she's like a high level cross country runner, not like, you know what I mean, back of the pack. So it's just like you've been training low and slow for since August, and like just going to showcases on the weekend. It's just like,
Now we gotta
Yeah.
change that up.
Yeah, I think
Breaks my heart.
if running is if that's your main sport, then that's your main sport, and we're gonna get really good at it. But I think if your main sport is a field sport or a court sport that's quick and explosive and rotational,
100%.
I think that doing cross country is detrimental to those sports.
Right.
It builds the opposite qualities. It doesn't build a fast twitch type 2 muscle, creatine phosphate system so quick. It trains like you said, a slow sagittal plane only, so only moving forward type of sport.
And we've talked about it with kids in here, and kids are like, I want to get faster. I'm like, well, you gotta move faster. And
If you want to get straight.
and I tell them, I'm like, how do you get stronger? And they're like, well, I gotta lift more weight. I'm like, so how do you think you gotta get faster? And they're like, I gotta move faster. I was like, yeah. I'm like, so the formula isn't necessarily hard, and everybody's gonna have their top end of where they can get to their max potential. But if you try to move faster, you're gonna notice when you don't move faster, and then you're gonna be like, okay, I gotta make sure I'm at this intensity every time. And you bringing up, you stopped playing football after your freshman year, going into sophomore year. That reminds me of like Kai's. Kai stopped. We had a guy that went to our high school. He ended up playing in the NFL for a little while. He played basketball until freshman year. After freshman year, but he was a football. Football was his thing.
Right.
After freshman year, he stopped playing basketball and just focused on football, and he did track. Whereas like track, now that's teaching you more, especially if you're a sprinter, more of a fast twitch, like correct running technique. Those type of things. Whereas like cross country, like you said, it's you move weight slow, you're gonna move slow. You run slow, you're gonna run slow. Like it's just the way it is. It's the way the body works.
Yeah. What's your academic background? Like, what did you study at college?
College. What a time. I started off going for physical education, which switched to like physical sciences, and then went to when I transferred, went to early childhood education, which was such a letdown because I wanted to be a PE teacher because like that's who affected me the most just in life. So I'm just like, all right, this seems like a dope route. Let me do exactly what they're doing. Now we're here.
You and Paul. I mean,
I originally
both
started
can
as
speak
PE
to
too.
that.
Like I started as PE, got through 2.5 years. Was basically right before I was going to go into a lot of the big teaching stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, this isn't what I want to do.
Yeah.
So then I switched to kinesiology, and then I got a minor in sport management because originally the two majors I was deciding between when I went to college was sport management and phys ed. I wasn't sure which one. I chose the phys ed route more because I wanted to be a coach.
Mm-hmm.
And then, long story short, got my degree in that, and then became a trainer a few years after I graduated. Once I realized like that's what I really wanted to do, and everything led me into here. And now I am a coach, just in a different way. I'm not
100%.
coaching a team necessarily, but I'm actually kind of glad I'm not because I get to coach.
So
And I get to not have any ties to any team. I can be like,
Yeah.
I
You don't coach
I
teams,
get
do
to
you?
affect every team.
Yeah.
Like a specific
As like a
club?
head coach, no.
No.
But to answer your question, a few different answers. I went to I always say I went to school to play lacrosse, and like school was second. Even though I don't tell my athletes that now.
Wasn't as good of a pour that time.
Sounded
trying.
great the first time.
But for me, so I went like physical sciences, and then from there went to early education, and then just went to elementary education. My last 2 years, but that also had like a huge PE emphasis in it because like the Midwest, man, it's a wild place in general. One of my teachers was like the PE teacher and the cross country coach. His class was like the dopest class in college, but he would take us to his farm and like put us through class. We went fishing. we went fishing. He would like take us to like fix the fence. Like, 'cause
He's putting you to work.
but
bro.
Is he Mr. Miyagi?
Nah, he had like 250 head of cattle. Just Midwest, bro. It was so bang. Because it's like, yo, no one else is getting this experience, you know?
Yeah.
But he was also just a great dude. Like, yo, just a country great dude. And, like, I learned so much in that dude's class. But he also like taught us the most about like, hey, like somehow he always tied it back to class.
This,
Like,
is this is Mr. Miyagi. You
This
sure
is
it's not?
this is the Midwest Mr. Miyagi.
Coach Ren, shout out Coach Ren. What a guy. When you looked at him, you look into his eyes, you're just like, oh, you're different. He was a dude that always walked mad fast around campus. You would see, hey, what's going on? And just like keep going, just wild dude. But yeah, he taught us a lot about like being able to like just have fun, but also like tie everything back into like just life, like life sciences and stuff like that. So like going on his farm, he was like, hey, like what's wrong with this water? Like, is it dirty? How do we clean it? I was like, how do I clean it? So we were talking about filtration. I'm like, got us. You know what I mean? So it was like dope. And I was like elementary education. But then he would also like talk about like he would bring us to schools and like he would have us do like half like education, and he'd always bring us to the gym and just always have us do just like fun games, fun ass games, just with the kids. It's like really like because like he's always a proponent of kids never want to learn until like they've had fun, you know? So like we would always work on studies of like these kids aren't going like there's been schools, I think a few in like New York City or a few in like different countries that have like they have PE before they have school. And those kids always have like just better attention, better learning rates, and it's just like, all right, guess who's not doing that? Us.
Yeah.
So it's just like for me, I'm just like, oh, this is dope. Like it makes sense, you know? So like as a teacher, every day I'd start school with like some sort of like PE type style game, you know, and that just carried on into that's what we do now. What I do now.
I love that. That should be in the curriculum more. How much more would kids like school and learn better and just appreciate the world around them? Fucking be on the farm.
Yeah. Well, and him bringing that up reminds me of one of the
Be on the
teachers.
farm.
One of the teachers we have in here that I feel like does that.
Yeah,
with
he's
it.
great.
You know, he retired, but like he was an elementary school teacher, and I felt like he did so much as far as like bringing it. He's like, the janitors would get so mad at me because my room like would be covered in dirt and mud and stuff because we'd be studying rocks and like we gotta have dirt and like the kids are gonna get dirty and like and the kids love it, and it like you said, kids aren't gonna want to learn unless they have a little bit of fun first.
Yeah, where was that guy when I was in school? This is kind of cool, but I didn't learn anything from it. I had a teacher in high school who I think for 1 week we watched The Wizard of Oz, but paired up with Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon. We watched Tool music videos. It was an English class. I don't know.
I definitely know who you're talking
about.
about.
I don't know if we ever read a fucking book.
Even worse.
I mean, I had an English teacher, and like I was taking film and lit, so watching movies was part of the class, and he showed me Shawshank Redemption, which was a very great movie
in school.
Great movie though.
It was senior year.
Yeah,
senior
credit
year.
to that.
Okay.
So it was senior
You can
year,
get away with that
and
one.
it was a film and lit class. Like so, like you watch the film and then you write about it and all this other stuff. Still to this day, in my top probably 3 favorite movies of all time.
That's dope.
That's
dope.
that teacher was one of my favorite teachers ever. We actually learned something. Mike, I don't know if he did.
Oh shit, man. This episode of Off Exit 10 is brought to you by Anchor and the all-new Anchor Pro, crafted to endure the most high-performance workouts without the high cost and space requirements of a standard cable machine. Named the best portable cable machine by Men's Health Home Gym Awards, Anchor provides the full functionality of a cable machine in one small space-saving unit. Designed with user-friendliness in mind, Anchor can simply be attached to any squat rack or placed on any wall in your home gym using its intuitive sliding track mount. With up to 65 pounds of resistance, Anchor is built for high speed and controlled exercises alike, from cable presses and rows to chops and lifts. The Anchor has been a game changer for us here at CDSF, and now you can enjoy the same professional quality cable machine in your own home gym by heading over to anchortraining.com and using code CDSF10 for 10% off your order today. Get all the benefits of a cable machine without the high cost and installation fees. Enjoy the portable luxury and space-saving performance of Anchor today by going to anchortraining.com and using code CDSF10 at checkout. That's anchortraining.com, promo code CDSF10 for 10% off your order today. There's a, Paul, look it up. There's a book called Smart Moves. Paul will give the author, but it talks about just what you were talking about, how important it is for
Carla Hannaford?
Yes, for it's like kids playing in the playground on the cover. But about kids and being active and movement and stimulating their brain to be able to learn.
Why learning is not all in your head.
Yeah, because you
Which
got.
is
I mean, people joked about like fidget spinners, but
Nah, bro.
it's
I love,
fucking,
as a teacher, we had I had a budget for that kind of stuff because that stuff made the most sense. Like a lot of my kids had stuff under their desk to like fidget their feet with. A lot of my kids had stuff like to sit on, like different like tactile stuff to sit on. And it's like stuff like that allows kids to just focus, man. Like at the end of the day, like that's what I won't go deep into education, but at the end of the day, like, that's what for me, like I'm there to like give this dude a great experience.
Yeah.
So we can actually like, you know what I mean, teach him something. Because I was in the Albany school district. Mm-hmm. So we're trying to teach kids something. You know what I mean? Like really trying to like change at a deep level.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
I think the trouble with education is we don't fucking pay teachers enough. So you have imagine an unenthused teacher doesn't want to fucking be there, isn't getting paid a good salary.
100%.
And you're supposed to inspire these kids to learn.
Bro, like when you're not eating, or like when you're like as a young teacher, yeah, but like when it comes down to it, like I had this great conversation when I was in Florida. I was driving Uber, and buddy, like we were just talking, bro, so many wealthy people on there, so many like just blessed conversations. And I asked this wealthy dude, like, yo, like, what's it all about, bro? Like, is it about passion? Is it about money? He was just like, what are you doing right now? And I was just like, driving Uber. He's like, why? And he's like, and don't tell me because you fucking love Uber. And I was just like, damn, like you got me. Like, I do need the loot. You know, he's like, whatever anyone fucking does in life, like they could say money doesn't matter. I'm just like, to a certain extent, he's like, it's about money, dude. Like you gotta eat. Like you gotta pay the bills. And like and then at the next level, it's like when you start like meeting those needs, now you can actually start pouring back into other people because like your cup is full. You know what I mean? But it's like fun. Shouts to my coach. I won't say his name, but he was just like, "Hey man, come like work for the school. I'm about to make." He's been there since I was there, since my sister, like I don't know, like 20 plus years. Like, yo, I'm about to make like $100,000 this year. Like, damn. Like, yo, coach. Like, bro. Fucking
out.
like we're on the way there next year, bro. Like, you know what I mean? But it's just like I'm still doing exactly what the fuck I wanted to do.
Right.
Life just put me in just such a better situation to do it.
Yeah, but those paths I'll take those people every time. I think I'm way less inclined to hire somebody with a straightforward path. I don't think I want that person unless they're a complete stud. It's like, you know, my business partner Dan's path was not just straight, I'm going to own a gym and be a strength coach the whole time. Paul's path was not that. Connor, my other guy, was not that.
Well, and even
Matt, the different life experiences. Yeah. Oh, pour out. This is good.
Yo, this should be cool.
Yeah, shout out Hennessy. This is my first time.
Yeah. Quick sponsor.
Yeah.
Shouts to the boys.
Need ice or anything?
Yeah, if you got some.
Jay, get us some ice.
Appreciate you, cuz.
But no, I think having the different paths, that's where this field's magical, but also
Scary.
can make it the worst
Yeah.
because there's no
Prereqs,
big,
really.
yeah, there's no big prereqs.
There's no prereqs,
Right, but it makes for some incredible people who really want to learn and do well
100%.
because you have this diverse kind of background and experiences to bring to the table. Right. It's not like, well, I went to school for accounting and I got my CPA and I did this, you know what I mean?
I'm going to sit here for 40 years.
Yeah, so...
Appreciate you.
Yeah, because like how for you not having a background in exercise physiology, I mean, when were you like, okay, I got to put my head into it and now really start to educate myself on that front? And how did you go about that?
Honestly, that was like, I freaking love it now, to be honest. Anyone else?
Yeah, pass it over here, please. Yeah, because I love the stuff you do, man. I mean, we've talked in the past and I see it online and it's just like you're doing great stuff for the kids. So, yeah, how did you, without the background, get to the place?
So for me, it's a great. I never really thought about like how I started.
Or just
I guess like for me, like always like having like obviously the background and like being an athlete, PE, but then like as far as like the educational route, like when I first got into it, I think I literally like before I like started coaching athletes, like my first experience like coaching. Like I had like chance, like when I was in college, I had the chance to coach my actual lacrosse team. Like through, like I was like the captain, and I was the guy putting us through strength workouts, which was at that time nothing like I'm doing now. So I'm so mad about. I'm just like, damn.
But it starts there.
Yeah.
My first experience started. I trained with me, my friend Box, and Keller Dash, who was on an earlier podcast.
Yep.
We would lift every day after basketball practice. I would make shit up, and we would do it.
And Alex still remembers those days. Like he'll bring it up like countless times to me whenever we're having a conversation. He's like, dude, Mike had me in that weight room doing some shit.
Bro,
Okay, so that's where it starts.
Yeah. I literally have a notebook of all like those workouts, just before practice, writing them down. Like, all right, what are we gonna do today as a team? All right, we're gonna do this, and this. What's on Instagram at that point in time? Because I was like, when you're looking at like the football guys doing their shit, and like obviously it's just like. Now looking back at it, it's like, all right, football and lacrosse, all right, kind of similar, kind of not. Like,
No, but you should always look back at your shit years ago and be like, there's some principles that are good, but I'm not like that now.
Yeah. So that's like where it started. So I was able to pull like from that background, see like, all right, this is where we started. This is like what worked, what didn't. And then from there, I was able to like really dive into. I had a great friend, Brandon Gallagher, who was like I think he went to school for exercise science. I went to UAlbany. He was in the industry. I think for like 3 years at that point, like before I like even stepped foot into it. So like I knew he was there, so I admired what he did. He was doing more of a like what you're doing from like a CrossFit standpoint, like semi-private like CrossFit, and like not like actual like walking in like WODs CrossFit, more of like you guys know OPEX?
I've heard of it.
Explain.
Dope. So this is like where I first started. Like OPEX was like. So like James Fitzgerald, the owner of OPEX, was like one of like the original CrossFit champions, I guess. And he like I guess like transformed. It's depending on perspective. Transformed the industry of CrossFit from like a like randomized like hey like walk into a gym we're just gonna get fucking sweaty, tired, grow these fucking muscles for no reason. To like hey like longevity matters. Like I don't want to fuck up my joints. So like. Let's find a way to program, like, I love CrossFit, so let's find a way to use, like, all these tenets, like, all the things we do, all the tenets that we do, but then just use them in, like, a safer manner. And that he created OPEX. I don't even know what the hell it stands for, or stands for anything. But I started following him heavy. I loved his programming. So I kind of started off as, like, more of, like, a CrossFit, which dove into more of, like weightlifting, like Olympic weightlifting, because, like CrossFit, Olympic weightlifting. So I dove into that. I'm like, all right, like, this whole snatching stuff, you know what I mean? Yeah. But cleans and stuff. Yeah.
Love cleans, hate snatching.
Cleans, I was like, I love cleans. Like even in college, like that was like, so like that's when I was just like, okay, like this stuff makes sense. So like I started connecting the dots from that. I just dove deep into like, okay, like let's look into like Olympic weightlifting. Like, how does this stuff like make sense for athletes? Because I'm just like, these dudes are fucking like moving weight. You know what I mean? Like they're like not like we can go into like when it comes to like you got your first athlete, like what makes sense for him to like get where he needs to go. I'm just like, all right, like needs to be strong, needs to lift weights, needs to move fast, and like not knowing anything but like OPEX and Olympic weightlifting. I'm like, all right, gotta do cleans. Dude, that took so long to teach dudes how to fucking clean,
Yeah,
bro.
man, that's the truth.
That is the truth.
We program it in here, and like we've got a
very
point
strategic.
it's strategic with who we do it with, and we can break it down pretty simply. But yeah, that's the reason why we don't use it with everybody. Because if we had like a group of 8 kids with 2 of us and they all had cleans, we'd be like, fuck,
Yeah.
I gotta sit down.
I gotta go.
I had fucking
I need to go have a drink.
I had this one post go like, I won't say viral, but like viral or whatever. And some dude commented on it. He was like, "Dog, why don't you guys just do hang cleans?" I was like, "This dude's a fucking idiot."
Yeah.
And I wanted to like chirp back. And I was just like, "This doesn't even
Instagram's
make
new
sense."
algorithm with Reels, it's like TikTok. It floods it to random people.
100%.
TikTok's the worst because like you get a bunch of followers, but it's all just random. Nothing's gonna convert to anything. But now you get more bullshit comments. We posted a video of a girl squatting the other day, and we had like 3 comments about her squat depth, her technique. I'm just like, oh, delete. I don't want her to see this. I'll feel
100%.
terrible.
Right.
100%.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, because like, especially like the athletes, because they don't know, like they, it's risky, man. It's risky.
And I've been there too, where like I posted, I'll never forget this. I was doing like Swiss bar bench press, and I had chains on it. And some guy commented, he's like, "Just take the chains off and do more weight." And I was like, "You didn't even? Did you?
You're
read
like,
did you
just-
read the caption?
Yeah, you're like,
Did you
just
read-
get a girlfriend.
And
How
they-
about
like
that?
so they don't have context of the fucking situation, which is
Right.
like, and then like if the athlete sees it, they're just like, "Oh shit, why don't I just take the chains off and do more weight?"
Or
It's just
why,
like,
or why am I not squatting deeper? Or why am I? You know, and it's like
that's the whole trouble with the internet. But I don't want to get off course.
Right.
Yeah.
So so the OPEX was a big thing
Oh,
for
yeah.
you.
Yeah, OPEX was huge.
I just love this. This is how much time you've had to put in to create your systems and to learn.
yeah, and figure out what works and what doesn't work,
Yeah.
which is like the most like, which I was even thinking about like just recently. I'm just like, it's always going to be like, yo, like every athlete's different. You know what I mean? So like, I was thinking like probably like a few weeks ago, I'm like, there may be a point in time where I go back to like the semi-private model, like I was like now going through like the training camp model, running it, which I think is going to be like dope as like I know it's going to be dope as fuck. But there may be a day where I go back to semi-private, and so it's always going to be like cycles of like figuring out like what works, what doesn't, what's the best to get the end result, you know, and like that's always learning, you know, like that's what it needs to be.
Well, it might be a combination of the two. You know, you never know.
100%.
The thing like I like to look at too is your maturity as a trainer and strength coach and how your programming changes. And I'll never forget like one of the people. So I still train a couple of my clients online, whether I just write their programs or I do it virtually. And one of my clients, I wrote him. He hadn't trained with me for probably like 6 months since COVID, after COVID started. And I wrote him a new program just for like what he was doing at home. He had a whole at-home gym set up. And he texted me back. He's like, "Dude, this is like Paul 2.0. Like, what is this?" And a lot of it was because I took the stuff I was doing and then things that I learned in here from Mike and Dan and just, how to set up a program more efficiently. Because a lot of times I'd be writing a program and a lot of my clients would be like, "I feel like this is taking me too long." And so I'd either cut out exercises or I'd do this and just learning, okay, structure it like this and they'll be able to get it done in an hour and a half tops. Right? And when he said that, it was just cool because then I go back and I look at some of his programs I wrote, a year and a half before. And then I compare them. I'm like, yeah, stuff is still things I do, but now I've progressed to here. And you get to see your growth as a coach along with the growth from the client, like whether it's an adult client, an athlete, whatever it is. You see their progression, but then you don't see your progression as a coach. And it's really cool.
100%.
Yeah, this
100%.
is a tough field because you got to be a steady person yourself. You got to know yourself. You got to be consistent in how you
That's so deep.
present as a person.
That's so
But it
deep.
is because these people are coming in every day to hang out with you, and they don't want to get a sad, upset Mike one day, and I may be,
Right.
but it's tough. It takes a lot of like internal work. Do you know what I mean?
And for me, that's where teaching definitely paid. Like, there's so much that came from teaching into coaching. But it's just like, I like, especially in Albany, right? Like, saying it how it is, man. Like these dudes at home lives, dog crap.
Yeah.
Bro. So like for like I said, a great experience is so much more important than teaching dude fucking
2 + 2.
No, that's important.
That is.
Because they love money.
But it is,
right.
but it's like,
when we
you
start
know,
throwing in numbers and like letters and shit like that, all right, bro, like let's make this an experience
Yeah.
and teach when we got to. As a teacher, I would always say like K through 4, most important.
What did you teach? What grade?
Second grade and then fourth grade. But I'd always say K through 4 is the most important because like this is like from experience, this is the shit I'm using every day. I'm not looking how to fucking like divide by pi or like whatever.
Yeah.
We can go deep on that. But for me, so like being able to transfer like, hey, like it doesn't matter what my at-home life is like I have to come into the office, into the classroom and give these dudes the best of me. On top of that though, like you got to make sure your at-home life is solid. You know what I mean? Because there is going to be situations where like there has been situations where like, yo, like at-home life is rough. It was like a 8-minute commute to work. You know what I mean? Like you're in the moment, 8 minutes into, I got to smile and be peppy for another 8 hours. Just like, so like that's deep. Like you got like personal development. I was talking to my mentor about this today. Like we're talking about business development, and like more than business development, it's personal development that leads into developing a business. Because like when you don't pour in, like we said, like you can't pour from an empty cup, right? So you got to fill that cup up first, like fill that shit up,
overflow it.
overflow. And I'm at the point, like I've been like learning now, it's just like you don't even pour from that cup. You got to teach others how to fill up their own cup. Because if you pour from your cup, they're gonna that's just gonna be gone there looking at you next week like, you okay, get some more?
Yeah.
Like, I gotta teach you how to fill your own cup up. So like being able to fill up your own cup is huge. And that's gonna lead into walking into a classroom, walking into a gym, naturally like being able to like spread love. Like every day I wake up and like, yo, peace, love, and joy. Every interaction you have today, peace, love, and joy. Like, yo, peace, love, and joy.
Yeah.
Straight
hey,
up.
Listen, look.
Hey, see?
Peace and
see?
love.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Hey, life works how it works, man.
Yeah,
Fucking,
man.
so just like every interaction, so like you gotta take care of at home. You gotta develop your person, understand what your weaknesses are, work on those. Obviously, maintain your strengths as we do in lifting weights, stuff like that. So when it comes to like your interactions, like yo, you're just whole. You know what I mean? Like you can give without having to worry about something that's going on. And I've been like I said, Florida was so dope, bro. Cause like before that, I was in situations where I was like, at home isn't the best. You know what I mean? And I have to go coach. All right. Yeah, I have to go coach.
Yeah.
And and then after you coach, just like, well, shit.
Yeah,
now we gotta go back home.
Yeah, I realized that when I lived in Boston she was my fiance at the time, my wife now, a girlfriend when I moved there. But yeah, I'd have days when the two of us weren't solid. Mm-hmm. And then I'd have to go coach, 10 one-on-one sessions for a day. Mm-hmm. And it felt like 40 fucking hours.
Right.
And I'm just like, man, but because I was putting work first, those priorities over, at home, family, relationship priorities. And then it made work awful and decreased my performance and made that worse. So it's like, that's advice to a young coach if they're listening. Like, before you think about any training thing, you gotta pour into you and
100%.
make sure that your mindset is solid, your understanding of yourself is solid, your relationships are solid.
Yeah, I laughed earlier because Mike brought up about being like sad Mike, and I was standing. I got done like writing a bunch, two programs earlier today, and I was sitting at the computer for probably like an hour and a half, and I had my hood on because I was freezing.
It's not heat season yet, sorry everybody.
And so, and it also got like really cold really fast today, but regardless. So then I get up at a desk and I'm standing over here, and one of our kids who's like gotten really strong fast, he's sitting here crushing us at a bench. So I'm just like eating a Reese's stick, enjoying that, and watching this kid crush bench. And one of the girls in here is on the other side of the rack over here.
I just hear her. She's like, "Hey, Paul."
She's like, "Hey, Paul. Hey, Paul." I didn't hear her once, and then she's like, "Are you all right?" She's like, "You look sad." I just like was saying your name like da da da, and I was like, "I'm really sorry." I was just glued to my computer for mad long, and was zoned in on this kid doing bench over here. And I was like, "I'm good." Da, da, da. And then one of the other girls said it too. She's like, "Yeah, your hood on all day." I was like, "I've been freezing. That's really why I have my hood on," and whatnot. And she's like, "Oh, that's fair. That's fair." And so, you're right. Like, kids will see that. Like,
anybody
will see it. But kids, I feel like are very aware of like body language, and a lot adults are too. But I feel like adults will just be like, "Oh, whatever," like da da da.
No, kids know.
Yeah.
Kids will look at you and they'll call you out.
Yeah,
and I love it.
my first ever internship with this guy John Manine. Shout out John Manine at Cressy Sports Performance, or not at Cressy's. This is at Conca Sport and Fitness in Western Mass. I think we spent the whole first week when I got there. We didn't talk a thing about exercise. It was about listening, and it was about body language. That was it. We spent like how not to stand, how to stand on the floor, don't sit, stand, don't cross your arms, no hands in your pocket, like. And I was like, yeah, okay, like this is, so that's kind of been like my foundation, because I was an impressionable 19-year-old kid, and I was fortunate to meet this mentor early on to really put me on the right path. But yeah, people pick up on that.
100%.
Yeah, 100%. So you switch careers, and then do you start Fortitude right away when you switch? What's that path?
No. So Fortitude is like, I was coaching before Fortitude actually happened. So I was like, what happened was I was at school, and like I was also coaching at Hudson Valley for 2009. It feels like it's been forever ago. It's only like a few years ago, I think. I don't even know. That's how it feels. I think it was 2019. I was coaching Hudson Valley.
Pre or post COVID?
Pre.
Okay.
Yeah, so COVID wasn't a thing.
Because
So
we
2019, 2018, something like that.
Did we link up pre? No, we linked up post COVID.
Yeah, post-COVID.
Okay,
Which
yeah.
feels like forever ago.
Yeah, I can't even. Put
And it was like, that was
together.
last year's. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
wasn't that long ago.
But so I was coach. So 2019, there was a gym. I'm not gonna say their name. That was out of Del Mar, and they needed a coach. And like me just being a coach, I was just like, all right, like dope. I'll hop in, like hoorah, like do one of those kind of things.
Yeah.
That was terrible. I hated that experience because like, and one, it was older people, which I didn't mind. But from like, I wasn't programming. I was just like coaching. I was literally just like, hey, like here's a program that I was given today. This is what we're gonna do. And I'm watching people try to do it. I'm just like, this shit does not make sense. Like, so that gym folded, and like sadly, I was like the coach at the time, like when it folded.
Dude, this isn't an easy business to be in. Man.
No. And so I was just like, it's like the business folded, but the space was still there, which is dope. So like, I was still had the key. So I'm like in there training myself. I was playing lacrosse at the time, so in there training myself. And then like there's like, I'd post videos and stuff like that. And then eventually like a few clients that I was training, like were like, hey, like like the business closed down. Like it's okay if we like come in and train with you, because like we like you. And I was just like, dope. So now like that was kind of the start of like me like, all right, how do we train these people? Not like income OPEX, income CrossFit, all this kind of stuff. And then obviously like from that experience of like, okay, these people can't do a freaking clean. How do we break this down? And like one, like that wasn't even a clean at that point. I was just like, all right, where do like the other things I do, like walking lunges, those kind of things, like carries, that's stuff from CrossFit like can convert into like creating like, especially like a GPP, creating a great GPP client. Like, okay, like especially like these clients are like 60 plus. So I'm just like, all right, we're just gonna like start them like bare bones, like individual leg strength, carrying, make sure like their joints are good, because like they were kind of old. So I had surgeries and stuff like that. So I'm just like, all right, we just got to make sure they're good. I mean, so I make sure like they can sit, stand, walk, squat without having pain, have like good mobility without having pain. So yeah, so that started like before Fortitude, and then like my birthday, November 22nd, which is in a month. I'm just like, all right, let's go ahead and start something, bro. Like I see like you're teaching, yeah, but you're actually like, it's just dope being able to walk into a gym and like just smile the whole time. Even like whether you're having like a shitty day at home or not, like that 60 seconds, like as a teacher, like that 60 minutes, like you have to give them the best of you. So like you're like, I mean, you're giving it to them. Like you're smiling, making sure they're good, and they're having either like, even though like they're sweating, having a like terrible time, they're having a great time. You know, because after it's all smile, it's all love. Like that's dope. Like that's just dope from like that's the dopest part of it, dude. Especially like when you gave a dope session and you're just like, and they leave happy, you're just like, all right, let's go.
Yeah.
like this like that's it. Like that's it, bro. Like there would be days from teaching where I would like drive home, I'd be like, oh, I'm smiling. There'd also be days where I recognize like, man, fuck this shit, bro. Like there's never a day like that of coaching. Never. And it's all like never. And I'm just like, all right, this is it. And that's so November 2019 I started Fortitude Life Fitness, which is gross. It was like LYFE Fitness. I just had a picture of a cake on it that we like celebrated with. That's 2019, and then like a few months later, and had to like growing, learning more. I'm just like, all right, instead of me doing like the whole like GPP thing and athlete thing, like what's my gift that God gave me? Like you're an athlete. And like now, even like at this point in time, even more, I'm like, all right, you're like a two-time All-American athlete that knows this one skill that along your journey, not everyone is able to fucking get. And like with that, not everyone could teach you how you can teach it, not everyone can lead how you can lead. So like, yo, like dive deep. You know what I mean? That's where I'm at right now. So like at that point in time, I was like, all right, you're an athlete. Let's coach athletes. Let's figure out how this athlete shits work. That's why I started diving into like more like college like strength conditioning. So I'm like, all right, like every coach's dream, like I want to create D1 athletes, pro athletes, want to coach pro athletes, you know what I mean? So I'm like, all right, like let's figure out how this shit works. Started diving into like NSCA, CSCS stuff. Dope. And just diving into a lot of like college pro, like which was also a great experience at Ottawa, which sucks. When I left, bro, state of the art S&C program facility came in. I was like,
listen, when I left elementary,
That happens to all of us.
yeah, it happens to all.
Straight.
When I left elementary school, they had these old wooden shitty fucking
the
playgrounds.
fucking-
They put in a dope ass new playground when I went to fifth
those
grade.
were lit though. Those were lit though.
Yeah,
Listen.
Jordy said in his last. Jordan gives the best man speeches, but nobody asked him to do another one. He's right, you're done, Jay? Done. But you said what on the first one? That you met this kid going down the big slide at the playground where you could, burn your ass cheeks going down?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that slide. That was a
Oh,
good time.
dude. Like, so I just picture like the sun beating off the slide as he
Oh
goes
yeah,
down.
Oh, yeah. Big aluminum
Oh, that shit
ring.
got hot. That shit got hot. 'Cause there was no trees anywhere around. She was
man.
baking in the sun.
Yeah, you leave with like no skin on your ass and fucking tetanus probably, and who knows?
Put a smile on your face though, huh?
Oh, smile
yeah.
on your face every time.
But yeah, so like, I was diving into like a lot of like, so at Ottawa, like we had a great S&C coach who was like the Midwest, like nothing but football. So we had some dude come in, I think from like Nebraska, big dude. So he was like our S&C. And like, there's just a lot of great people that had the chance to intern under him. Then KU is literally like 10 minutes down the road. So like for like all of our fundraisers and shit, we would work KU games for like football. Football team is trash, but basketball, top 3 in the country.
Oh, yeah.
Football, I looked it up. They're bad.
Yeah, bad. They just beat Duke though, which is like a big thing, I guess.
Yeah.
But like working out, like it's still a crazy stadium for football, even though they're terrible. Like I remember they played Texas. Man, that was a long day for me working, but like a dope atmosphere.
I bet.
And then like obviously the basketball, like just I never forget. I forgot who it was. Some like famous case, like Kansas City rapper came to like their like opening night like, at the Fog. It's like the arena there.
Who's a KC rapper?
I was gonna say 3-6 Mafia, but it's
Paul,
not.
look,
him.
they're Memphis. Paul, look it up. Who's the most famous Kansas City
think it's-
rapper?
Bone Thugs? No, not Bone Thugs. Yo, what's his?
Yeah, you looking up? Yeah. Tell me, most famous
Was
Kansas
it
City rapper.
Tech 9?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, great.
bro.
Tech 9's the man.
I was never a fan, you know. But
Yeah.
like funny, and like the crazy part is
That's right, because he wears Kansas City Chiefs stuff all
he
the
lived
fucking
like
time.
right down the road from one of my friends that went to my school, and he showed us his crib, Palace, especially in the Midwest, bro. You can get money like anyway. So we were working like those kind of things. So anyway, long story short, I had a few like classmates had the chance to intern at KU, or go to KU and like go there for exercise science and like dive into like their S&C program, work with the basketball team and stuff like that. So like that was like real close to me. So I'm just like, oh shit, like one, like that's dope as fuck. Like just from like these are like giraffes, you know what I mean? Like Ferraris, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's dope. You could go from like an NAIA Ottawa to like KU and like really work with like the best of the best. Like that's not once in a lifetime because like it happens frequently. You know what I mean? So I saw that happen. So I reached out to my man. I was like, yo, and now he's the S&C at UNC for women's basketball, which is
Oh, it's sick.
so now it's just like I'm watching what he's doing there, getting a chance to like connect with him, and just like, all right, like this is what high athletes at that level are doing. So I was like, all right, like this is how athletes have to be trained, and that kind of like led into like, all right, like let's start training athletes this way, and just diving into like just all different kinds of like now like I'm really learning of like, okay, like this is like more of like where I want to be, this is what I want to do, and have the chance to like dive into like, all right, like how do we build out a system for us from the business side, then also from like what matters most, the programming side, you know. So I dove into like a lot of just like industry guys. Like for me, I call him my GOAT. I don't know if you guys know him, probably not. His name is Jordan Shallow. His name is the Muscle Doc. Dude's a legend, bro. To me, he S&C at Stanford, who's also there with Corey Schlesinger, who's the S&C for the Phoenix Suns right now. So like those guys are like, I won't say the pioneers for me, but the ones who like I really dove into because they were doing it at a high level, and like they're just like kind of around our age, if you will, between like your age and mine. And I was like, yo, like I love what these guys are doing, love how they're preaching it, and they're really teaching it. Yeah, it's my guy. How they're doing it.
What's his Instagram, Paul? People want to follow?
Muscle Doc.
_muscle_
Yo, Jordan,
Doc.
what's up, bro? That's my guy.
Dr. Jordan Shout.
Yo, no, you gotta clip that one, bro. Yo, hey, yeah, that's my guy. But yeah, sorry, reminiscing. But yeah, so he changed my life. Like that dude, like he's like biomechanics, like that's like really his base. I forgot like what he got. He's a chiropractor, a doctor of chiropractic. And for me, like that was just like, all right, like this is how athletes have to be trained. And he was like the S&C for rugby at USC, and then he also was best friends with Corey Schlesinger, who's like the basketball coach. So I'm just like, all right, like a rugby guy and a basketball guy. These kind of two guys to kind of like really pull from and like see who they pull from, see who they talk about. And I started diving into like their goats, which led me to like West Side Barbell, all that kind of stuff.
Rest in peace, Louis Simmons.
Legend, rest in peace to him. Which is
Jay,
like
you know Louis Simmons? Just see what he looks like right now. Google him.
legend. So that was, and yeah, so that let me down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, man.
That's definitely a rabbit hole.
Yeah. So it's just
I mean, listen,
like,
he's one of the fathers of powerlifting and the conjugate
100%.
method. And yeah, man.
100%. And which like when I was in Florida, I had the chance to intern and like work at Drew Strong Performance, and he was like one of his guys for a little bit too over at Westside Barbell. So like that was just like, man, from a programming standpoint,
Yeah.
bro, like the last 6 months were just like being able to like see it.
Here's the hard part with Westside. Their programming's great. We all use, if we're doing speed deadlifts and conjugates, we're varying intensities throughout the weeks. It's from Louis Simmons and Westside.
Yeah.
But if you do one of their programs, they're so fucking crazy and so much volume. But those dudes were juiced to the gills in
And
there.
you guys understand like what their sport is too.
Right.
So it's just like being able to take
Their
those.
sport is lifting.
Yeah, literally. Like they're trying to like do that shit for a living. So it's just like obviously we're not trying to do that, but we'll take the tenets from it and put them in when it makes sense. But like having the chance to like watch that like from a performance standpoint down in Southern Florida, and like really watch it like at a high level, so dope, man. Like understanding like when to use bands, when to use chains, how to use them properly, different variations, how to use them safely, how to use them. Like I never knew how to use a band until I really walked down there, and he was just like, you tied the band wrong. I was like, oh.
So it's a lot of like accommodating resistance stuff. They're using bands, chains.
Yeah. And like for them, like, which is kind of like what kind of like piqued my interest into like a training camp model. Like fighters will come in for like a 12-8, really a 6-week camp, right? So like we'll start with like a GPP phase, and then we'll dive into really like more like specificity. And like that's when I start, and like they're always training like those guys. So it's just like we want to keep them like fast, twitched up and stuff like that, and get them ready for like the fight night. You know what I mean? Which is like, dude, holy shit.
They were all MMA fighters.
Majority of them. We had some bare knuckle FC fighters, a lot of like young amateur local guys, which is dope. Like still, especially in like SoFlo, like it's huge down there, man. It's so huge. Like they're like obviously like there's UFC like in Orlando, in Tampa and stuff like that, I believe. But like in Miami, I believe too, and Jackson. Like bro, it's so
before all that, to think of Southern Florida bare knuckle fighting.
Kimbo
Slice,
baby.
R.I.P. R.I.P.
Goat legend, hood legend.
I remember being in the library at school. We just watching Kimbo Slice
100%.
videos.
I remember being
100%.
in high school, college, just watching Kimbo Slice just beat the shit out of people, and it was great every moment.
Yo, just imagine.
Yeah,
I would not want to get punched.
Jay, I remember Nate Markowitz was like, "Yo."
I was in college watching that shit.
He's like,
crazy.
He's like, I think he pops this guy's eye out in this one.
I think that's a crazy I think.
Yeah,
like, he might break his nose, man. He might break a jaw.
No, I think his eye popped out. Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah, it's another beast, man. Fighters, but that's a sport where you have to train. You have to get pretty specific because you got to peak for the specific event.
Quick. So like for them, like it was like GPP phase, which is like the whole experience was beautiful. But then like you learn how to use bands and shit quick because like for them, like throwing one punch could be that knockout, So like everything we do has to be so like fucking so much intent. Which I will say, like even now, like I'm scared to use that much intent with my athletes because like if we're being honest, like we're high school athletes, but like obviously you should train. Yeah, I mean, every athlete, I heard someone say you should train every athlete like a pro athlete. I don't know if I agree with that 100%. But it's just like, dude, so much intent behind like everything.
Yeah.
Which is like, it's dope. And like now, like when I'm training a client, like I see all that shit, but it's just like, it's a high school athlete.
Yeah.
Push
You know
that
what I
button.
mean? Yeah,
right.
like these dudes are getting paid to fight.
Right.
You know
I
what
think the
mean?
programming may look similar in ways in terms of the types of movements you choose,
Oh,
but
100%.
the intents are different.
Yeah,
You got to
yeah.
learn good body control, position, technique, start slow,
100%.
and then
Yeah.
to give yourself the opportunity to.
Well, and
do
just
it fast.
listening to all this programming stuff makes me think of like the one time Dan and I were standing over by the kettlebells, and Dan's like, "Yeah, I think I gotta change this one kid's program. His season's coming up. I'm gonna change him into more of an in-season program." And one of the other kids that was here, she looks at him, she's like, "Wait, you guys actually like think about this stuff?"
Yo, I heard someone say shit the other day.
And
too.
I was like, yes, this is like where most of our like brain, besides
This is
like
my
talking
life.
to you guys all the time, like this is where most of my brain power is in
100%.
what I decide to put into your program. And she was like, "Oh, I just thought you guys were like, yeah, this looks good, that looks good, But it's cool to see a kid that's at the time I think was a sophomore going into junior year, not realize how much goes into it, and then when they do, they're like, wow, like this is pretty cool.
100%.
And then that might spark their interest into wanting to get into something like this. You know,
like a part of my training camp model, because like, yeah, part of my training camp model is like really teaching athletes, like, especially like when it comes to sports performance, like this isn't like the way you're training now specifically isn't going to be lifelong, right? Like we're training to like a means to an end. Like we're training to get you to college, through college. Let's say you go pro, fire. You know what I mean? But like once you finish college, it's going to be basic GPP.
Right.
I mean, yeah, like stay sprinting, stay like having fun with training.
Right.
But like stay throwing balls and stuff like that.
This episode of Off Exit 10 is brought to you by Drink Alchemy. Fatigue and brain fog affect us all, destroying everything we pursue. Whether as an athlete, artist, creator, or entrepreneur, our mind holds the key to performing optimally. By combining the most potent organic nootropics found in nature, Drink Alchemy delivers sustainable boost to creativity, memory, energy, and focus in one epic beverage. Stop pumping your body full of excessive amounts of caffeine and unknown proprietary blends from other energy drinks, and get clean energy from Drink Alchemy's natural nootropics like lion's mane, L-theanine, and caffeine from green tea. Used by Olympians, D1 athletes, MMA fighters, and entrepreneurs, Drink Alchemy has become a huge part of my daily routine, making sure I'm functioning optimally during long days of coaching athletes, running CDSF, and getting in quality workouts myself. So do yourself a favor and ditch the energy drinks loaded with caffeine, other stimulants, and who knows what else, and head over to drinkalchemy.com today. Live with your mind unbound and save 10% off your order by using code CDSF at checkout. That's drinkalchemy.com, promo code CDSF for 10% off your order today. Here's the trouble with specializing and gunning it too hard too soon, right? You're gonna potentially burn out, max your body out, get hurt before you reach those end goals.
Yeah,
And
sadly.
I think that's where you talk about training every athlete like they're a pro athlete. If you do that too soon, you could lead to that.
And I saw someone say that shit was like a fucking like some dude like had to be like less than like 6th grade or like 7th grade, and it's like give him time to fucking play other sports.
Right.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And then,
I mean,
and then
we
like
do that in here.
Yeah.
100%.
We'll tell people like, go have them play another sport or do something,
Right.
and then come back to us when they're going into 7th or 8th grade.
Right.
You know, go. You're 5th, 6th grade. You don't need to be coming in here yet. Like, go work out outside with your friends. Go play an unorganized game.
100%.
Go play another sport. Anything.
'Cause, like,
Anything physical.
Yeah. For me, like which is, I'll say the wildest thing of being a coach, honestly, is knowing like the heights I've been to, never having a coach. To be honest, like never, bro. Couldn't even afford. I could, I could not afford me, which is a blessing. You know what I mean? But like for me, it was just like mostly like definitely BMX heavy. Like that was like if you see my shins, bro, like straight pedals to my shins.
Oh,
like, bro,
dude, you're not kidding.
like
You
bro,
look like you've been doing deadlifts for 30 years.
skateboarding, riding a scooter, BMX, bro, every day after school, no question about it. Like to the point where like my grandma, who was my homegrown, 96, when I mean 97, talk about
Shout out,
longevity. Like
Graham.
we're talking like sports performance. Like she's been on a farm her whole life in Alabama, so
Comes
like
back to the farms.
like just eating, like obviously eating well, nutrition. Yeah, I mean, but also it's like even now, 96, bro. You walk in the house, like, yo, you're 70, like 60. I still has a garden in the back, still killing it.
Oh,
but anyway, just like, yo, like just me playing sports, just me being active heavy, like through BMX, through scootering. That's like doing 360s on a bike, trying to do 180s, fake you out, skateboarding, hitting ramps, turning, all that shit. Like, bro, like that, like you can't even like fucking recreate that.
I wish we could go back. I wish we could go back to those days. That was all of us
Straight.
growing up.
Dude,
Going to the Ghent rec, going to our friend's house, playing in the backyard,
Right.
making up fucking games.
Yeah, I could tell you exactly especially when I went to my dad's, because I had two friends that lived in the same area that my dad did. One of them is my roommate now, and I could tell you, we would go outside. It would be 2 hours of basketball. Might grab a snack.
Right.
Then we'd go play 2 hours of like wiffle ball. Might grab another snack. Then we might go, okay, let's go play like home run derby. Then we go, let's just let's race around the whole park, like with our bikes, like, and then let's go play manhunt for 2 hours. And like
Manhunt was it
like,
hopping fences?
all of a sudden,
climbing trees.
ton
That
of
was the
hours
thing.
goes by, and all I've been doing is being physically active and running around, and
Yeah.
like those things that I was doing, you don't realize.
But
how much they
unfortunately,
translate over.
that's not the world anymore.
No.
I don't think you can go
Not
back.
even close. man.
But I don't think you can go back to that.
No,
No.
no way.
So
No
I
way.
think we have to find
Sadly.
ways, like I think with the box lacrosse
Mm-hmm.
and the speed lacrosse that we saw at the Casey Powell
Case,
thing.
yeah, which
Right.
is like
the,
box.
the 3-on-3 stuff that Dags was talking about, like creating unorganized play within organized play.
Right.
Like
right.
that's where, as coaches and people that are specific to a sport,
Mm-hmm.
we have to get better at is let's create these unorganized aspects in an organized fashion. Like I remember when we were at the Casey Powell thing, they talked about one day, a bunch of the kids grabbed their sticks, threw them down in the center, picked up just chose teams, picked up sticks, started playing speed lacrosse.
Yeah, that's it.
And they were originally going to stop them, and they were like, no, wait, let's just let them play. They played for like 40 minutes. They said, just let them play, let them
Right.
do their thing. And they probably got more out of that than they would have just running through drills and whatever else. And that's where I think as coaches we got to find the ways to incorporate unorganized, because everything's going to be organized at this point.
Right.
Everything.
For my lacrosse players out there, best lacrosse players in the world to me, my teammates at one point, Miles Thompson, Hines Thompson, but also Lyle Thompson, GOAT, legend, went to Albany. But they're like a huge part of their story is like they're like three brothers and a cousin, Ty Thompson, also my teammate, dope, legend, family. They just grew up in the backyard playing on the res, like just playing and playing hard too, like in the backyard, small net, getting after it. So like I always tell my athletes, it's like it's not about what you do in practice. It's what you do outside of practice to make you better at practice, to then make you better come game time, right? And these guys are just in the backyard, just killing it, getting after it, like brothers, like putting pressure on each other, playing all day, every day.
Beating the shit out of each other.
Yeah.
How did lacrosse go from these native reservations to mainstream? Paul, Google it if we don't know.
Hold on.
You know?
That would be a disservice if I did not answer this one. So,
Because I remember there was a guy I just saw recently that was talking about the guy that runs the PLL. He was
Okay,
talking
okay.
about like how he wants the PLL.
Paul Rabel.
I think that's who it was.
Yeah.
He tries to incorporate a lot of the roots of how lacrosse started into
Right.
the PLL.
So, historically, it's not a pretty story. But, if we're being honest, it's a Native American game,
It's
right?
a lot of shit's not a pretty
Yeah,
story,
let's be
man.
real.
Yeah, that is facts. So, like, just like the Native American game, we all like as a Native Americans, we often say the game was gifted to us from the Creator, like to the Native American people. For them, at first, it was a game of war to like settle disputes. So, like, instead of like us killing each other which is dope when I go hiking now, but I'll get to that in a second. Like, instead of us killing each other for like this piece of land, we're gonna like play this lacrosse game. I mean, 1st to 7, which is lit, kind of.
That's
But
fucking
it's
pretty
also
dope.
like
Can we do that now?
I'm taking my stick across the forehead. Yeah, there's no ref. You know what I mean? It's like dudes die out here. So I was telling dudes like in Florida, like, yo, like dudes get punched in the face. Really, dudes die out here for this game. Like which dudes will understand. Because like when you understand what the game really is, you're not crying about a cross check. Because you understand like the true game creators game. Like dudes died on this. Like not like football. No disrespect. Not like baseball. This is like a game. A historic. There might be like a historical baseball. I don't know if you guys ever looked that up or not. But like maybe like from the Aztecs or some shit like that's where like
Started technically in England, but it's America's game apparently.
okay.
But
okay.
we won't get into that.
Uh,
I know that
yeah.
from my college studies.
But like so this was like a game to like settle disputes at one point. And then from there like colonization happened. Noticed this game. I don't know like who took what when, but some shit happened to where they saw this fire game. We're like, we're gonna take that, and then it became more of like obviously a more affluent person's sport, if we will. And then from there, lacrosse was like more for the wealthy folk, if you will. And then if you ever look at a map of New York, and it's really just the country, and look at every reservation, for me, it's wild how strategically placed in the corner of fucking nothing they are. And it's sad, to be honest. Like, the team I played for was Aquasasni, up in the fucking corner of St. Lawrence, which is...
St. Lawrence is already in the corner.
Yeah. It's we're in, it's called Hogansburg, New York, right next to Messina, right on the border of Cornwall, Ontario. And it's kind of cool, but also kind of wild, because you see they're next to water, next to shit that's gonna help them survive. Mm-hmm. But someone put them there on purpose. You know what I mean? So it's that's kind of fucked up. And it's just boom, we put them in the corners of these places. I think there's some in the middle, Ottawa University is a Native American school. Mm-hmm. My best friend, shout out Ryan Alley, no offense, sorry, white as shit, pasty as shit, Native American. Because it's just fucking, these tribes were, you know what I mean, placed places, you know what I mean, and obviously got taken over by settlers, colonized.
Yeah, listen, it's fucked up. I mean, Monday is
Indigenous People Day.
Yeah,
right.
/ Columbus Day. And I was just talking to someone about that, my mentor about that, why is it different? What's it different? And I was just hey man, at one point we didn't recognize the dirt homeboy did. And now we're finally recognizing the dirt homeboy did to whom. Mm-hmm. And instead of celebrating homeboy, we're gonna celebrate the dirt. There's other people he did the dirt to, which is my people, Native Americans.
Yeah, the fucking disease they brought over, the people they fucking killed. We never learned any of that shit in school.
No. We
didn't learn a lot of shit in school, man, right? Yeah, you can talk, yeah.
I was going to talk to my mentor about Tulsa, Oklahoma today, Black Wall Street.
Yeah, that's something nobody...
That's the shit that... I remember talking to somebody about it, and I was didn't know about that till probably I was in college at one point.
Crazy.
Which is crazy to think about, because it's such a major historical thing.
And there's so much, obviously so much more shit. That's just the shit we kind of know about. You know what I mean? It's just and the scary part too is because not everyone knows about it, it's just some people don't believe it because they didn't learn it in school. Yeah. And now we're talking about this is why I like coaching, because now I can when people start to believe in you and trust in you, now you can teach them something, right? I was telling my mentor today, I'm excited for Black History Month this year, because I've been growing my bond with these people, but now I'm at a point where I can really affect change. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's not shoving shit down their throat, but it's every day now we're learning stuff outside of S&C. That's for me, it's what it's really about. Like I said, this is the means to an end. I'm trying to teach you stuff that's gonna last a lifetime, right? So I'm excited for Black History Month, because we're gonna when you come in on the whiteboard, it might be hey, who is homegirl? You know what I mean? You may not know who. Yeah. I want to be there, teacher, Mr. Linder. Fucking, we're gonna learn today. Let's go. Only because I'm almost certain, as a former teacher, you're not learning this shit in school.
Well, and it's funny you bring that up, because again, going back to the teacher that just retired recently, he brought up how when he would teach about Native Americans, he would try his hardest to not use the word Indians, Native Americans in any way. He would use whatever tribe they were.
Yeah.
But then the problem he would run into was when they would take a test, they wouldn't understand that those people were Native Americans, because he never used the word.
Yeah,
he never actually used it. He would only talk about them as whatever tribe they were. Right. So then he started to have to use the word Native American and the tribe names and what they were actually known as. But it's just cool to know that there's teachers out there that are trying to teach them everything.
A lot.
But that, as a strength conditioning coach, you're also I can affect them
100%.
in this way and teach them more than
100%.
just, because I feel being in here as a strength coach, I learn a lot every day, but then I can also teach kids so many different things, or adults, whoever it is, so many different things that I've seen or learned or know about that maybe they don't know about.
Right. And a part of why I chose, I'll say, to stay in this field, and why I really enjoy it a lot, and why I say I'll never go back to coaching at a macro level, is because in a classroom of 25, if we're breaking it down, fucking 5 definitely don't want to be there. 2 of them might not be there. You know what I mean? 3 might be there, skip, whatever. 10, yeah. 10 want to be there. 10 maybe on the fence. That means average students. When it comes to coaching, dudes are paying me you know what I mean, to be in my presence, to get my knowledge, you know what I mean? So now it's just like, with that 25, you might be able to fucking reach 4 or 5, maybe, you know what I mean? You're with them every day, you fucking should.
Yeah.
I hope, you know what I mean? If you're a good leader, not even a leader, and you're learning like what these people need to then fucking, I won't even go there. But now I get the chance to like, hey, like, I want to learn lacrosse. I heard you're really good at lacrosse. I heard you're a really good strength coach. You've done X, Y, and Z with so-and-so. They've turned up. So I'm trying to do the same. So like now it's just like, now I can get a team of 25. Like my roster is at 25 now. So now it's just like I have 25 athletes who really want to be here. And now, like we talked about earlier, like forget about like we are being active, right? As we're like together. So like, yeah, like it's going to be easier for you to learn something. But now it's just like, you actually want to be here, so like you actually want to learn something. Besides, like you want to learn something. It's that simple. Yeah. So that's why I chose to like. I feel like I always feel like I can affect change in anyone, like wholeheartedly. But I feel like I can affect at a deep level when it comes to coaching versus like at a macro level where like, which was a dope experience too. So like in Florida, just learned about leadership, like heavy, dove into leadership before I went down to Florida. And I told myself, like I said, never wanted to coach at a macro level. Because of the ratio. Because I'm like, yo, like the ones that don't want to be here, like always fuck it up for the ones that want to be here. Like as like a dude who's been at that level, like yo, those dudes that don't want to be like, yo, I'm trying to get you off my team, bro. Because like we're here we're here to win.
Dude, you can't take your energy away from people that want to get better.
And not even like on the field. Like, dude, I got dudes taken away like off the field.
Right.
Like, bruh, college, like you guys play college sports. There's always those dudes that are fucking up off the field. Like, I'm not trying to run for y'all at 6 a.m. Like, come on, fellas. So it's just like, those dudes always fucking it up. So like when I was in Florida, just learned heavy about leadership. Like we're talking about earlier, like just life be lifing, bro.
Yeah.
So like the creator put me in a spot to lead young men, a full team, Boca Raton High School. Hasn't won a district championship in 5 years, right? Damn, it's gonna be tough to say. Not the best at lacrosse when I first got there, right? Like when I went there, I'm just like, oh, we got work to do. You know what I mean? And like I went there to like create connection so I can get athletes to come into my gym. You know what I mean? That shit didn't work. Cause like very wealthy area, dudes didn't really want it like that. I'll say it how it is. Like dudes are, brother parking lot, lit. Like dudes are pulling up like Ranges, M3s, coupes. Sophomores, bro. I'm just like, damn, I'm trying to make rent this month, bro. Like, fucking, hey, man. So it's just like, these dudes aren't trying to go to college, go D1 like my people up here, respect to them. Like people I work with now are still affluent, but they want it a little bit deeper, you know what I mean? So like when I was down there, like, they didn't want to come train with me that much. So I'm just like, all right, like, they don't want this. Like, what do they need? I'm like, all right, like, this is where we're at. Like, so instead of me like having to get them into my gym, which is like it's not working. Now, like as a leader, as a person who's in front of these young men who like the creator put me here for a reason, like I have these skills. Like you can't just walk away. Like for me, if I'm in front of someone that needs something, I can't just walk away from you knowing I could help you out. So I'm just like, fuck, dude. Like I know it's probably not gonna end up in like me getting too many clients, but I'm gonna be able to further the game along that much more, right? Not being cocky, but being confident in my ability to lead men, figure out what they need, and then teach them lacrosse. You know what I mean? So like from like day one, just walking in, like showing straight love and changing the culture of the coach. Like he was a new coach for that first year, and like was just kind of like my high school coach was just like, gotta do this, gotta do that, gotta do this. Like you should be here, should be that. And for me, it worked. You know what I mean? But we're in 2022. That shit don't work. You know what
100%.
I mean? So it's just like the creator blessed me with the chance to like learn about like really how to lead people. So now I'm in front of these young men, like looking at them like, all right, you guys' skills are lacking, but you guys also kind of don't want it. There's not really a bite here. So like, how can I pour into you guys to like teach you how to want it and then teach you like how to have lacrosse? And like, long story short, we went from like not that good to winning a district championship, like for the first time in 5 years. And like, I'm like, I always say I didn't do shit. I didn't do a goddamn thing, but I know fucking we won a district championship for the first time in 5 years, which was dope. So I had the chance to like really go ahead and learn how to like lead men at the macro level, which was dope, but there was still a few along the way that was just like making shit tough, but it's just a part of the team. But now it's just like, I'm back in a spot where I have the chance to like have a full team of 25 of athletes who like now we can actually get after it and really teach them something. Athletes in Florida taught them a lot about life, like so much about life. Like, yo, like I told them, like, yo, I see y'all parking lot. Like, being honest, like, I see y'all parking lot. And like there was one African American on the team, and like I was just like, where we come from, like we're out here really trying to like get after it, like really trying to make sure like not only are we good, but the people behind us are good, and like y'all are set up. Like we really talk about shit like that, you know, because that shit matters. You know what I mean? So I'm just like, yo, like there's gonna be a point in time, like for me, my mother passed away in high school, and for a lot of these guys, like they're set, like I said. So I'm just like, there's gonna be a point in time where adversity punches you in the fucking face. You know what I mean? And you got to answer to that. And after dealing with me, it better not be no soft ass fucking, like you better, adversity, what's up? Like, let's go. Like fucking Coach Linder taught me, like, yo, like, let's go. Like, no, like excuses and I don't relate. Like, yo, fucking adversity, I welcome it. 'Cause on the other side of that, I'm gonna be a better person. And fucking like, we went from like not being good, like their adversity was like not being who they thought they were. Like I told them, like, yo, y'all are not, like my team will come down here and wash you guys. Like, so you guys aren't who you thought you were. And like we had an experience of like the first few games getting punched in the mouth, like bad. That was also because like leadership was, I'll say, was also bad, because coach was like, hey, we should be here, we're not here. He recognized what the guys needed. I'm like, hey, these guys need like X, Y, and Z. And we really focused on those things, and those things really formulated into like, oh shit, like now we're starting to win games. Now we're starting to like, so-and-so's getting better. I'm like, yo, it starts with the one. It starts with the one. Because like before like this whole team comes together, it starts with the leader, then getting one player to get another, and then you get 12 players, and now we're a great team. But it starts with the fucking one. And if we can't get to the one to make him better, I personally believe it's going to be a long day, a long season. So like when you affect changing the one, each one, now you're a better team. Now you can affect the team. But I don't got time for that shit. I'm trying to coach, like individually. Yeah, so that's me.
In a smaller
100%. Because I was like,
fashion.
yo, I literally lost my voice, and I wasn't even like yelling. I was just talking. Just because like there, like when I was in my college years and like through high school, I was that yeller because my coach was a yeller. But then I just learned it's not how you say it, it's what you say, and like how you say it sometimes does matter. So like towards the end of the season, I would be like, it was like towards the championship, like the whole season I was like more mellow, more relaxed, more like loving, peace, love, joy. And then towards the end of the season, I'm like, oh, y'all forgot. Like, y'all like, yo, like, I'm that boy. Like, y'all forgot. Like, we're not here to fucking, like, just sugarcoat everything. Like, we're here, like, y'all, like, got to this point, but now it's when to go home. So it's just, like, I'm not going home. Y'all ain't going home. So I really had to fucking get up. So, like, there's a time and place for everything, 100%. You know what I mean?
Well, that hits harder when you are mellow or more, like, just talking to them more as individuals, not, like, yelling at them, right?
100%.
Or whatever the tactic is. And then when you do turn up that intensity and you're like, hey, like, stop fucking around type thing.
Right.
It hits harder because they're not just going to shrug it off like, oh, this is just coach getting mad.
Yeah, it's like the boy who cried wolf. If you're always a yeller, then, you know, your yell's not, that tone of voice is not going to mean as much. You're like, oh, there goes Paul again, fucking yelling. Like, okay, let me tune him out. Which,
yeah, like, and I was gonna say when you said you start with one, I think that doesn't just apply with like getting people to buy into something. That you start with one with everything. You can't get to step 10 if you don't do step 1.
100%.
Right. So that's whether it's you got, like, we tie this back into what we talked about at the beginning, that 8th or 9th grader that's trying to go to a showcase. Well, that's step 10. What about step 1, 2, and 3? Right. Let's do those first before we go to step 10. And go to the showcase that you aren't even ready for.
100%.
Like, that you're going to go there and now your name's going to get crossed off a list because you weren't ready or prepared to be here physically or mentally or whatever it was. So I think, you know, that whole start at 1, whether it's you need to start at 1 to get the group to go together, or you start at 1 to get yourself individually going. You got to always start at step 1.
100%. And if coaches or players listening to this, before whatever season it is, you're not going to win a championship the first game. And that's what gets dudes choked up. Like, I want to win. Like, for us, it's always, like, since high school, it's always been like, we're not going to win in May. We're not going to win in February. Like, championships in May. You know what I mean? So we're looking to progress up until that point. And a lot of guys are trying to win games in February. I'm just like, yo, if we fucking won the first 10 games and lost the rest, guess who looks stupid as fuck? Us. But if we lost the first 10 and then won the last 10, hey, bro, we're going out champs. You know what I mean? So, like, how can we get to the end? And more importantly, like, what you want to do matters, but what these folks need, bro, matters so much fucking more than, like, what your ego is as a coach coming in. Like, that's the biggest thing is ego. And like I was talking about, I hate saying this, talking to my mentor today about like being a leader. To a certain extent, you need ego to like get in front of someone and be like, hey, like I can affect change in your life better than someone else. You know what I mean? Like, but humbly, like you've put in the work to do that and like deserve that. You know what I mean? So it's just like when it comes to that point, like you really gotta understand like this person needs something. Figure out what they need. And then like whatever it is like you want to like create them into, eventually you can get there.
Right.
But it starts with like what they need, dude. Because if they don't get what they like I always say, like when I talk to my athletes, I was like, "How you doing? Good." Yo, what the fuck does that mean? What the?
Yeah.
Yo, my good could be like, yo, my dog just died, but I'm alright. His good could be like, yo, I got food waiting at home, pizza. Like everyone's good's different. So like we always elaborate on what does that mean?
Yeah, that's good.
I don't like the whole shallow. We're not here for shallow. We're here to be deep. We're here to be deep. Like we're not getting anywhere being shallow. We're here to be deep. So it's just like, if homeboy needs food, like food, right? And I'm giving him shoes, bruh.
That's a good analogy.
You know what I mean?
Great analogy.
Like, what are we really doing?
Yeah.
Like, yo, you got the freshest shoes, but buddy's slowly withering the fuck away. Then he's dead. But he has fresh shoes. I wanted to give him fresh shoes. Bro, he needed food. Did you not fucking see what my man needed, bro?
Yeah.
And dudes' egos are just like, yo, I got the freshest shoes, though. I'm gonna give him the fresh shoes.
Dude, that's communication and building a relationship in the best way you could put.
Yeah. They need food, not shoes. That's literally could not be said more.
Yeah, but you have
concise.
to have a conversation to know they need food.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you got to be to a point where you look in the mirror and understand it's not about you.
Yeah.
Like when it comes to affecting change in others, yes, to a certain extent, it is about you and the systems and processes you have to help that person. But we got to start with what they need. And then we can really, you know what I mean, get them some food, and then get them the fresh shoes. Now they're happy.
Yeah.
Right? Now they're being able to walk down the street, you know what I mean, not be in the hospital bed with some fresh shoes on. So it's just like, man, like coaches, figure out what your players need, right? And then you guys will get to the end goal. But when you figure out like when your players need handling like stick skills, when you figure out your players need to learn how to load and explode, right? Like give them the resources, because then when you fix those things, like step 2, 3, 4 becomes so much easier because you took step 1 serious. But a lot of guys don't take step 1 serious. Like I always say to my athletes, like, yo, we're building a strong foundation so we can build a firehouse. And if we have a firehouse and a weak foundation, this shit ain't gonna be here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You see Florida. Shouts to
I
him.
literally, I was like, that
You see
hurricane is
Florida.
taking that shit.
Like Florida's
Gone.
lit when it's nice outside. You know what I mean? But like when it matters, like shit's, you know what I mean? Like some people's foundation might be strong, might be steel. Like I took this course called Steel in the Walls. There might be steel in the walls to help you keep that crib. You know what I mean? When shit goes down. But if you don't got steel in the walls, it's just like
It's gonna get washed away.
washed, bro.
Gosh, that's a Linder principle. You can relate that to anything.
Washed, man. But yeah, that's like I take leadership serious, man, because like that's the base of it all for me.
Yeah, and it shows, man.
Appreciate that.
It shows in what you do. It shows in our conversation. Dude, I'm happy you came up here.
Appreciate
and we could
that,
talk,
man.
and we could talk more and just learn more about what got you to, in Fortitude to where it's at now.
Yeah, man. Big things coming for sure.
Because
I'm
yes,
stoked.
it's great to watch you grow. And
You guys too, man. Like I said, like watching you guys get the wall knocked down. I thought one of these barns I saw coming was going to be yours. I'm like, damn, they're getting new space already.
no.
But yeah, you guys are really
Not
like,
yet.
like when you said about like it coming in the industry, like looking at those who do this shit well, like, you know what I mean? Like CDSF, like fucking like, I was trying to like really weed out like those who were like fucking around and those who were like really doing it. And obviously
Yeah.
like those in the athletic field, a lot of dudes fucking around.
Yeah,
You know
there
what I
there
mean?
is, and it's part of because there's no standard, there's no prereqs for this field, so it makes for people that are just fucking around, which does a disservice to people. But listen, for the good people, this field's weird in terms of when I was young, it was like I want my clients, I want nobody else to have clients. I want to eat, and it's just not like that, man.
Yeah,
It's
I was
not.
at that point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think we
We
all
all
were.
were.
We all were there, and that's not a good place to live in life. It's
Mm-hmm.
it's a stressful and unhappy place.
Yeah.
You want all the other good people to eat and to have nice shoes.
Yeah,
You know
facts,
that
right?
that
You want to help. You want other people to be able to fill their cup too.
Right. But what I
Yeah.
see is they need education now.
That
I read
is-
Yeah.
This week, ran into a situation very, very close to where I train. And it hurt my heart. Someone's like, damn, baseball athlete. Damn. First day. Damn. Like, first thought was like, oh, he should be with me. Second thought, putting that away, is just like, now we got to teach that coach. So when they get more, because like you want them to eat. Yeah, I mean, when they get more, they know how to go about things. I'm trying to figure out how to fucking put that little bit of ego aside, to be honest, and be like, hey, but it's also just like they got to want to.
Yeah, they have to want to, and they have to have done the work themselves,
Yeah.
right? They have to have learned to put their ego aside and understand themselves and what they need.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, the people that want it, like, if you really are in it to help people and to be a leader, that's what it's about, man.
100%. You guys are doing the right thing, man. So, like, I really look up to you guys. Appreciate you guys 100%, man. You guys fucking led the way for me, 100%. Not even gonna hold you. Like, fucking, like, showed me what to do, 100%, man. You guys fucking, you guys are where you're at for a reason. Like, this podcast is gonna blow up. I know it. You guys lit, hyped to be here. Shouts. You know what I mean?
we
Appreciate
use that
you
we
guys.
use that clip talking about eating in the shoes. That's gonna blow up.
That's definitely gonna. Eating in the shoes is definitely gonna blow up. Definitely gonna blow up.
But yeah, man, you guys are just real people. Just real people, genuine people, like creating great athletes. Jealous of that. You know what I mean? From like a coach to coach. But it's also, it's dope. It's dope as fuck to see you guys are doing it this close to home. Because it's just like, we need more of this. That's what I'm trying to help create.
We all need more of this, man. And let's when I was in Boston, there was kind of this community of a lot of gym owners who had this mindset of, we're together, we're gonna grow our businesses, we're gonna learn from each other. And it's like, not, this area is behind, like you said. Places in Florida we're behind. Well, this place is Florida. Fuck, we don't have 2 more hours to talk about that.
God.
We'll hop into that another time. Maybe off air.
But here's behind in the sense of having that gym community and,
Right,
and
right.
and just professionals on the strength coach side just wanting to help each other and grow. So I'm happy you could come on, man.
Appreciate you guys, man.
This was great, and yeah, man, we're gonna sure do some shit in the future together, and
Got to.
and another one of these, and just let the people know where to find you at, where to follow you, where to find Fortitude, where to contact you.
No doubt, no doubt. Tried Facebook, don't do Facebook. So it's just at Instagram, the.fortitudestrength. If you know who I am, if you want to send me an email, it's at trainfstrength@gmail.com. Also, my website is trainfstrength.com. And that's where you can find us at. So Instagram's definitely where most of our content's going to be. Check us out, see what we do. We got some training camps coming up for lacrosse players out there. Got the preseason off-season training camp coming up January 2nd. That's going to start. We have mini camps coming up for just offense and defense, just going through reps, nothing but reps with shooting, reps with defense. That starts in November. So we got some pretty cool stuff coming up, man. Stoked.
Come guys, yeah, man. So athletes in the area, lacrosse athletes, be sure to check him out. Contact Alex, and yeah, man, thanks for coming on again.
Appreciate you guys,
Appreciate you. All right, catch everybody next time. Thank you.
Peace.